As seneschal, I cannot help but be concerned. Won't Kibellah's personal feelings affect her performance of her duties as bodyguard?
I am a shield, a shadow, a blade, none of which have personal feelings.
Breaking up with a death-cult assassin and staying in the same sector as her? The Lord Captain's got guts.
How old were you when you first took her life? You are scarcely more than a girl. Dreadful.
There is no sorrow in stepping onto the thread of his service early. Rather, one should lament doing so too late. Do not feel sorry for me.
You are most definitely the genuine article, and not a replica fashioned by the homunculus, Mistress Kibellah. If the Lord Captain's bodyguard had been switched, I would know.
I am grateful, Kibellah. I hope the Xenos cannot deceive your instincts as he deceived mine. Is the Domin trying to comprehend the limits of baseness and vice? Is that why Viljai is allowed to live?
You simply have to hit every nerve you come across, don't you? Let's just chalk this one up to the Lord Captain's whims.
In spite of your years, your body and spirit remain strong. Tell me, Kibellah, what do you do to train them?
Well, I spent a lot of time running back and forth after the Lord Captain, for a start.
What sacraments do the servants of the Administratum perform to deaden the spirit of those who visit their cult's temple? I wish to tell the Vizier about them.
We call it bureaucracy, Mistress Kibellah.
The commoners should never have opposed the will of Kibellah. Each person has their place on the flagship, their burden awarded by the Undying One.
Mistress Kibellah, spare an old man's heart. Any more of that and I'll have to adopt you.
Blessings can be bestowed upon peasants directly, as Incendia Chorda does. And the Domin has the right to do the same.
A rogue trader's privileges are extensive. On footfall, they are limitless. But some still are wise enough not to exercise those privileges to the fullest.
I knew a commander who preferred quick, simple, and effective measures. A shame he didn't survive.
What the priest in red did, I felt the will of the Undying One. He doomed the machine spirit as I doom the souls of people.
I hope he shows more consideration for the machinery on board our ship than the spinners of the blood-spun web do our crew members.
Kibellah, there are techniques and tools to help you forget. I can...
No. There are some things one must not forget, Mistress Kibellah.
Upper deckers avoid coming here. But how can one live aboard the flagship only to turn one's back on the core that gives it life?
This core can just as easily take a life too. Especially if someone around here takes a fancy to your boots.
The sacred exterminatus. I saw it for the first time in all its fiery majesty.
An awesome sight to behold. Like a giant brush wiping all the colors of the world from the canvas of reality.
To behold the death of a world was akin to a revelation. I give thanks to the Undying One for the chance to bear witness.
It makes me sick to think how many innocents died in agony. And you marvel at it.
Places such as this make me think of snow. Pure and untainted by human squalor, under the frozen light of a star that illuminates everything, to the very depths of one's soul.
Your soul already shines, Argenta. But if death calls you before me, I will keep your ashes for the richest world of snow there is.
Kibellah, how do you see your relationship with the Lord Captain? As part of your duty as a bodyguard? Or as something that violates that duty?
Neither, and both. I do not know. It is a thread leading into darkness.
You know that I killed Lady Theodora, but I see no reproach in your gaze. Why?
The Undying One called Domin Theodora's name. He merely chose you to carry out his will. Nothing else matters.
In another life, you could have worn the insignia of the Adepta Sororitas, and I would have called you sister. But your rituals, they trouble me.
Perhaps it is because you see them as a reproach to your asceticism. My armor bears patina and dust, while yours shines bright and clean. You venerate yourself, whereas I simply wield myself. Faith leads you along your thread, as it leads me along mine. We both serve him in our own way. So, why do I see such worry in your eyes whenever you look at me, Amic Argenta?
We find our foes by different means. I kill those deemed guilty of heresy by the exalted ecclesiarchy. You kill those identified by vague portents. And I do not know to what extent they can be trusted.
Now that the heresy of rebellion has engulfed this entire world, no walls will offer shelter from his furious judgment.
Indeed, our only option is to fight to the last drop of blood and secure victory for the glory of the Emperor, or to die in the attempt.
I hope the Domin bringing a Xenos into her retinue is some kind of elaborate trap.
If that is the case, then we should have been informed. Otherwise, the prey might find its neck snapped before the trap can slam shut.
Until his last breath, Nemesis was dedicated to his purpose. Had he not been the weapon of a twisted will, I would have recognized him as worthy.
You are driven by your service to the Emperor, while he was nothing but a heretical spawn, an abomination. Do not suggest that the two of you were alike.
You monkey are all equally unsettling in your self-renunciations, regardless of what path you might choose.
Oh, how I look forward to the blissful moment when the traitor Kunrad Voigtfear receives the punishment he deserves.
He has remained among the living for too long. 'Tis time for him to physically become what he already is, in his soul. Carrion.
I can't believe I'm agreeing with Adeptus Sanctimonious here. But yes, that scumbag is going to pay for what he's done.
The Undying One has whispered his name so long, it has been seared into my mind with a red-hot cane. But soon, the heretic's soul will be dispatched for his harsh judgment.
Listen, bonehead, I often want to strangle you, but I'm sorry you had to do it yourself.
I do not want your pity. Not now, not ever.
First you take stimulants to hear whispers, then you torture yourself for the perverted pleasure it gives you. Admit it, your vaunted self-denial is nothing but a facade.
People see only what they know, and all you know is the poisonous sweetness of vice. Your faith in him is a brazen lie. You never abstain, you only indulge. Your heart has no place for sacrifice in the Undying One's name.
The Exalted One is both life and light. And yet somehow, you lot have managed to turn his golden glow into darkness, and his mercy into savage murder.
The Xenos that attacked Dargonus have no respect for death. They ridicule it and turn the act of killing into a mockery.
They slaughtered thousands of people, but what bothers you is that they did it without showing the proper respect. Madness.
It is not death that feeds them, but suffering. They cling to life, though they were doomed long ago.
Footfall only received sustenance thanks to the Domin's magnanimity. The people have been taught to rely on the compassion of others, a lesson in helplessness.
Your cult of blood fanatics also only exists on the Lord Captain's sufferance. What do you have to say to that?
We have earned this right through sacrifice and service, and we will humbly accept death if the Domin decides that the spinners are no longer needed by the flagship. I like Viljai better without the mask. But rot without a mask is still rot.
Looks like we picked the right unhinged zealot after all. Or did all your dead doppelgangers hate me just as much as you do?
Our footsteps sound louder than usual. Their thunderous echoes are magnified by the terror in the Xenos' hearts.
This carnage has really livened you up. Are you sure you're not one of the Drukhari?
I am aware that some grieve for Venayadira. They are wrong to do so. She died a human being before corruption could devour her soul.
Wrong? What are you talking about? Why don't you cut out your tongue and sew your mouth shut, or whatever perversions your cult enjoys?
Mistress Kibellah, I understand you were raised by a death cult, but ordinary people mourn those with whom they have served for many years.
Kibellah, I have never seen her drenched in such colours before. Is it fear? Distress?
Perhaps you were looking at a different Kibellah before.
Even at the epicenter of an anthracite crimson storm, you, Kibellah, radiate an even, silvery glow. For you, physical pain is a mere flicker of sensation. Why is that?
Pain is my teacher, my ritual dagger. It cuts away fears and desires. Like a chisel, it hones the will and reflexes. What reason is there to avoid it? I do not understand.
Order has returned to the colours of your soul. Are you relieved that your bond with the Lord Captain has been broken?
Our bond has not been broken. It has become what it should be. I will say nothing more about it to you.
Blessed throne! Our little girl's got fangs beneath that veil of naivete.
I sense a peculiar resemblance between us. We were both raised by our houses, if you will, raised for a glorious purpose.
I too am glad to fight side by side with his worthy servant, even though I usually hunt alone.
A blood-soaked sunset of gold and crimson burns within your soul. But the rest of your colours have faded to grey.
To serve the undying emperor, one must excise all that is superfluous. What you see is sacrifice. What you see is duty. Tell me something, Venai Cassia. Do you truly see the undying one's light in the darkness between the stars? What is it like?
Amid the boundless terror of the Sea of Souls, his distant light is akin to a great burning heart. I see it beating in the darkness, and I know that I can find my path.
Your clan paid in blood for the attack on the Domin. Carry the memory of it.
I shall consider this a show of sympathy rather than a threat. Is it seemly for valued servants of the Emperor to huddle together in such a squalid abode?
We attach importance to other things, Venai Cassia. Ascesis is how we achieve self-perfection. Our feats of faith are our gold, and the prayers written upon our walls serve as our murals.
Lay people always overvalue indications of status. Prestige is demonstrated through functional superiority, not the quantification of one's possessions.
So, this is how vast the sky is. It is no wonder that mutiny broke out here. How can order be maintained in a place without compartments or bulkheads?
I would argue that it is not the size of the territory, but the competence of the governor that matters. Ugh, he did not even send a proper cortege to meet us.
A coddled life leads to nothing but ruin. Trials are what hardens the spirit. Venai Cassia should offer thanks to the Undying One for the suffering she has endured.
This outlook on life is unseemly and crude. but not without truth. The characters in my favorite novels have to overcome adversity. Now it is my turn.
One has lived a life of self-denial and training, the other, one of luxury and books. Neither has any idea how real life works.
Blood has guided Amic Argenta since her birth. Blood has led her to that which is hidden. Blessed are those who steadily walk the thread.
The preacher Yerebor wrote, "Each will be asked according to their strength and rewarded according to their merit." I shudder even to imagine her reward.
I'm impressed by your combat skills and conviction. Perhaps one day you will consider serving him under a different set of tenets.
I hear your words, and I see your intent. In truth, all you wish to change is the name of the one who commands me. But I am already the Domin's shadow.
Mistress Kibellah, have you ever demonstrated special abilities inaccessible to ordinary people? Ever experienced amazing insights or the ability to influence the minds of others?
I hear what you're saying, and I do not like your insinuations. I warn you, if you attempt to paint the Undying One's blessing as foul psycherism, you will answer for it in blood. I know that you are watching me, Venai Heinrichs, not as a friend, but as a sentry. I do not mind.
Thank you. I do not doubt your loyalty, but your method for selecting victims makes me wary.
It was right that Vilmarajai was killed, but not like this. Not for the amusement of the Xenos, and not according to their rules.
I too would have preferred 8 hours of interrogating the wretch with the use of biomancy first, but we must be grateful to the Emperor for small blessings.
Venai Heinrichs, my thread is inseparable from the Domin. I am his shadow, and our bond is unbreakable.
I fear we have both allowed ourselves to mix duty and sentiment. I will not back down. And I suppose neither will you.
The thread of true service is one of loss. May the events of Phaeton 4 not weaken your resolve, Venai Heinrichs.
Do not pretend to have any understanding of loss, Mistress Kibellah. Your mind is too warped to be capable of empathy. Return to your duties.
This place is almost like the plasma drive chambers on the flagship. The deadly flashes of the machine's spark, the smell of scorched flesh, and threads that must be severed.
An odd comparison that omits many details. However, it is fully explained by your narrowness of specialization and focus.
Governor Medina has done the living a grave disservice. It grieves me to think how he will serve the Undying One when he calls his servant to his side.
The privilege of saying what you think with no regard for diplomacy is a gift, one I hope you appreciate.
This is what happens when you act against the will of the Undying One. Yvain was trying to save someone whose name had already been spoken.
For individuals of Yvain's standing, friendship is an unacceptable luxury and a vulnerability that the ruinous powers are only too eager to exploit.
Just one crazy aristocrat getting into trouble, trying to talk sense into another crazy aristocrat. Rich people have a strange way of amusing themselves. Darkness. There is darkness everywhere, biting, hungering. And it's all wrong. Watch where you tread. One misstep, and this doom will swallow you.
Darkness is an ally of those who follow the tenets, a cloak that conceals the spinners from his enemies. But here, the darkness is the enemy.
So, the Lord Captain is indulging the spinners now? Is she going to start cutting people left and right because the Undying One gave her a sign?
Oh, by the Holy Throne. I hope not. This dynasty is enough of a mess as it is.
Your worry is misplaced. If the Undying One whispers your name, it will not be the Domin who claims you. It will be I, and I will do so with the proper respect.
So, I hear you use the tarot to divine the future. Do you have nightmares afterwards? Problems sleeping? Voices haunting you?
All my nightmares come to me when I am awake. As for his blessed whisper, it has been with me all my life.
I've been watching you divine using the Emperor's tarot, and do you know what? I think you have this psycher's gift, sister.
Hold your tongue, or you will be punished for blasphemy, witch. I have the blessing of the Undying One upon me, not the perversity with which you are tainted. Dark forces are devouring you, tearing at your soul, Venayadira. I could teach you techniques to clear your mind.
Just no intoxication, bloodletting, or self-torture, all right? Hey, why have you gone all quiet there, Scully?
The souls that tormented Venai Zachary, did they reject death? Or did the Undying One accept them into his hands in the end?
I don't hear them among the whispers. So, let's hope it's this second one.
I remember you helping them to remove the corpses from my cell, Venayadira. You looked peaceful.
I was so engrossed in the newfound silence that I didn't even realize it was you at first. I'm so sorry, Kibellah.
Death has whispered many names, yet when it got to ours, it simply stopped. Not here, not now, not today.
Remind me to light a candle in that temple of yours. I'll have to ask Death to stammer more often.
I've seen you draw labyrinths of blood and dance in them with whirling blades. Crude, but the intent is sound. Shall I show you how it ought to be done?
The only dance you can teach me is the one where you lie twitching on the deck with your throat slashed open.
Spatters of hot blood on your face, a blade sinking gently into flesh, prey trembling in your hands. Does it not stimulate your senses, Slayer?
What stimulates me is this question. Could you still serve the Domin if you had no tongue? I am watching you, Vilmarjai. I'm waiting for the Undying One to whisper your name.
Yes. Watch carefully. Listen for whispers. Look for me in every shadow. Who knows when a trick of your imagination might become your nightmare?
The Domin grants great favour to Vilmarjai, but it will be swallowed by the dark abyss without a glimmer of gratitude.
Gratitude is a pitiful fiction. The rogue trader is useful to me, and she likes it.
You are with us again, Red Priest, and you are eager to fight. It is good to see that not only your body, but also your will is of the strongest metal.
Your positive assessment has been noted. I express approbative surprise that the unit Kibellah, composed of flawed flesh, has also been restored to functionality. I am registering a significant quantity of non-essential self-harm inflicted by this unit. Requesting clarification.
You reshape your body so that it may reflect the depth of your devotion. So too do I reshape mine. The scars on my skin become prayers, and my every torment turns into zeal. You have encased yourself in metal, priest. You may trick age this way, but you cannot trick death.
This unit's service life is not determined by entropic degradation. The Omnissiah determines all. He is greater than entropy.
Red Priest, grant me your blood. Through divination, I will know if corruption festers on the flagship, as it does on the Red Priest's vessel.
Categorically denied. Not subject to appeal.
I wonder if the cogs got any blood left. I bet it's been years since there's been anything but machine oil in there.
These bones of the dead should be serving the living. They could be used in rites or divinations or as amulets. Why are they here, gathering dust and concealed from people's eyes?
This statement is true. The remains could be usefully processed into corpse starch, and the premises refitted to house the vessel's systems.
Blood Scryer, I have watched you do battle with yourself. A hard test, a brutal test. This is the true deviousness of the Xenos.
I am glad a blessed angel beheld my agony. To die before you is an honor.
Tell me, Blood Scryer of the Allfather, what about me?
Not yet, blessed angel. Not yet, blessed angel. I humbly offer you this blood claimed in righteous combat.
I accept your gift, Blood Scryer. Use it to inscribe a rune upon my armor, so that it may praise my valor.
Angel of death, you hail from a world blessed with danger, one that nurtures mighty warriors. Is this place anything like your home?
The frost here is like that of an ice troll's breath. This does bring back memories of Fenris, but the resemblance ends there. This world feels like cold oblivion, while Fenris bellows with the fight for survival and the promise of glory.
I know you long to kill me. Will you aim your blade at my heart when I turn my back on you?
No, Vil Iliad. Unlike you, I will never betray the Domin's will.
Your life is already short, and yet still you charge toward death, like a flaming comet falling into a star.
You treasure your long life, but it is hollow. This is why you waver on your many paths, while I walk surely along a single thread. I can do more in the moment I have been given than you can achieve in centuries. I have not interacted with your kind before, Vil Iliad. Now I have the chance to observe the enemy up close, to study your weaknesses. I welcome this chance.
Alas, you are not the first monkey I have encountered, and I can speak from experience longer than your years. You are no different from the rest.
Janus is full of color and fragrance, but I will not miss it. The decks of the flagship mean more to me than this rampant greenery.
The Lilithan sighs with relief whenever a monkey ceases defiling her with their presence.
Registering the unit Kibellah, like most Voidborn, is uncomfortable with natural planetary gravity and atmosphere.